CJ Stroud returns to the practice field. Did he get all the first team reps, and could there be some help on the way? Let's go inside the locker room with a little practice report.
Yeah, it's the locker room on YouTube. You know what it is. Let's get it. Hey, locker room. Yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk. Yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize every angle's what we really do. We the source. We the pulse of the city too. Landlocked. Got the game in the headlock. Localize every time. Can't stop. Won't stop. Yeah, top two.
Welcome to the locker room, number one source for Texans daily digital content. I'm Landry Locker. You can hear me Monday through Friday, 10 to 2 on Sports Radio 610 and the Odyssey app. Just got back from Texans practice. The Texans were back on the field. National media types kind of had their way with CJ Stroud. We'll get into that. But first, I want to tell you, it is the locker room, number one source for Texans digital content. Subscribe, like, ride along. You can hear me Monday through Friday, 10 to 2 on Sports Radio 610 and the Odyssey app. Subscribe to that. That's your top source for Texans radio content. CJ Stroud, 2 for 4. Not a great debut, but perhaps much to do about nothing, because I will not bury the lead here. CJ Stroud was still with the ones. So any notion that Davis Mills is going to start, any notion that Case Keenum didn't even take a rep today. So that Antonio Cromartie, like, I think that Case Keenum's going to start at quarterback. I live in Houston type of thing. I sometimes you just put athletes on just to talk for their name. They don't really put in much work. Cromartie was just kind of throwing that out there. Maybe he just misspoke and he meant to say, I think that he should. But yeah, it's not a quarterback competition at all. It's very clear that CJ Stroud is the guy. So that's where we're at. CJ Stroud has taken the first team reps. Bobby Slowik had a lot of good things to say about CJ Stroud. Got to talk to Bobby Slowik a little bit today. The Texans haven't put up the video. I talked to him about his mindset. Him and Mike McDaniel actually sound a lot alike when you actually listen to them talk. And I just asked him about their dynamic, their relationship. I called Mike McDaniel hokey, and he kind of laughed about that. But yeah, I just want you to know CJ Stroud's a starting quarterback. Unless this is the weirdest coaching staff ever, he's the starting quarterback. He is still with the ones. That's the number one biggest takeaway. Next biggest takeaway, the tight end position gets the much needed help. Tegan Quintariano back on the field. You anticipated that he was kind of close. I guess they didn't want him to, come back during, after the break for a game week that he wasn't going to play in. But Quintariano was out there. He was with kind of the ones and twos, kind of a little bit of back and forth. And also back on the field, Andrew Beck. So Andrew Beck got hurt on the kickoff, dropped the pass. Andrew Beck was back out there. They actually ran that same play where he dropped the pass a couple of times, and he caught it. But CJ with the ones, Quintariano back out, Andrew Beck out there. George Fant had a Veterans Day off. Fant was at left tackle the other day. In a perfect world, you have him at right tackle and you have Tunsil at left. He's just the backup left tackle. So because Tunsil didn't play, he was having to do that. Deculus was still with the twos, which I would be fine not watching Deculus play football anymore. But he was out there, and everything is fine. How is CJ looking? He looks fine. I mean, it was a very light practice. Tomorrow is going to intensify. That's going to be at 9 a.m. We're like less than 12 hours away from that. So we'll get a look at that. Joint practices are this week as well with the Miami Dolphins. So that's going to be very crucial to CJ's development and stuff. So we'll get a look at what goes on there. But outside of that, it was just kind of a really, really light practice. Something that I saw that I thought was interesting. I don't think it's anything significant, but I just think it's kind of interesting when it comes to talking about rookie quarterbacks. I'll talk about that in a sec, but first I'll touch on some Texans fan, Johnny Lambert. Fan doesn't need a day off. That O-line should be working this week. I mean, he was working on the bike and all that. I mean, that's easy to say. Like, he wasn't like sleeping. He was working on the bike. He was watching everything. He's a veteran, man. Sometimes veterans need to rest their body, especially after games. I mean, an off day doesn't mean that you're not doing anything. He was on the bike and all that. There will be 2 joint practices with the squad. How does Quitoriano look? Looks good. I mean, he's looked physically ready for a while. Caught a couple passes, just little, nonchalant type of catches, but he looks good. He looks like your second team tight end. So yeah, he's straight. Mr. Robot brought up something that I want to bring up. The Anthony Richardson situation. He says, I feel much better today. Anthony Richardson looked terrible. Bryce Young did absolutely nothing today. Look, I don't think preseason performances should be the end-all be-all. A lot of people use preseason performances to kind of confirm what they believe. Like, if you thought CJ Stroud wasn't the guy and you watch that, you confirm that. Bryce Young, the one thing with Bryce Young is he did take a couple of hits and got right back up. So any notion that he's just going to break, I thought it was silly to begin with, but he got right back up. CJ Stroud also, I thought CJ Stroud showed some stuff too that were his biggest knocks. Like, Bryce Young's biggest knock was he can't take a hit. He took some licks and he got right back up. So I think Bryce Young had a good performance. CJ Stroud felt pressure a couple of times and got outside. That was one of his biggest knocks at Ohio State. So I actually think CJ kind of countered some of his biggest knocks. Anthony Richardson, I always have thought it was a joke, this notion that Anthony Richardson is like another version of Jalen Hurts. I've thought it's a joke to compare him to Josh Allen. I'm not going to sit here and act like it's an end-all be-all for throwing an interception in a preseason game, but what the hell was that? Like, with CJ, you can sit there and you can say, okay, that was a bad read. You need to check down, maybe not double pump. And it probably doesn't help that Austin Deculus was listening to Juvenile and backing that ass up into you as you were throwing the rock. What the hell was Anthony Richardson doing? Who was that to? Was that to the front receiver or the back receiver? I have no idea. The dude was fading away and tried to throw it. And we're talking about a guy that completed like half of his passes to begin with. This is not like an overreaction to Anthony Richardson. I haven't gotten the Anthony Richardson thing to begin with. And quite frankly, I think there's durability concerns with Anthony Richardson too. So I don't know how good CJ Stroud is or isn't going to be. If you watch this channel, if you listen to me on the radio, I've never once said I think this is like the end all be all guy. I was a Bryce Young guy. Do with that what you will. But I was never a big Anthony Richardson guy, and I don't know what the hell that was. I don't know what that was. That looked like a 4 awareness rating in Madden. I mean, I don't think you chalk that up to a mistake. Even Will Levis's interception today, Will Levis just sailed it. Like, that's easy for a coach to say. Hey, you probably got a little high there. Let's work on the fundamentals. CJ, hey, let's check down here next time. Charge it to the game, okay? What the hell was Anthony Richardson doing? What was that? Like, what do you say? Hey, don't be dumb. Hey, this isn't Michael Vick in early 2000s Madden. I don't know what the hell that was. I don't know how the hell you coach that. That's Shane Steichen's problem. I don't know what that was. I don't even know if it was to the front or back receiver. That was trash. That was real trash. I'm not going to chill on AR. He sucks. I think he sucks. I think he sucked in college. I think he sucks. I'm not chilling on anything. I'm going to stick to what I was saying before the draft. We'll see what happens. Seems like a nice kid. He sucks. If Anthony Richardson ends up being something, it's going to be like nothing we've ever seen. The notion that he's Jalen Hurts was the runner-up in the Heisman. Jalen Hurts completed 70+% of his passes at OU. He went and developed at OU. Anthony Richardson missed a lot of games with Dan Mullen, and then last year he was average. Had some good highlights. I'm not chilling on anything there. I might eat some crow. I might end up eating some crow. I ain't chilling on that. So appreciate Laura. Yeah, be sure to like, even if you're not a fan of the Anthony Richardson thing. Go ahead and be sure to like. That dude's trash. That dude's terrible. I mean, I don't know. Like, if maybe he ends up being good. If he does, give Shane Steichen credit. He sucks. I think he's got good stuff around him. But I don't think Anthony Richardson has what it takes. It'll be like something that we've never seen before. Nothing. Like, there's nothing to compare it to. Freakish athleticism, nice arm talent. We'll see what happens. Birdie says AR over Happy Feet Stroud, I fear. Okay. And that means they're both going to be bad. And the chances are, like with quarterbacks, like your chances of stinking are better than your chances of being good. I mean, we can go through the quarterbacks that have been taken in the first round. If you want like a visual of it. I'll pull it up right now. Let's see. Drafted in the first round. All right, I'll pull it up right here. But yeah, if you like Anthony Richardson, you probably have a Madden dynasty. Congratulations. I'm like, if I were playing Madden, you damn right I'm taking Anthony Richardson. I'll run like a mug. But go through it. Matter of fact, man, who's homeboy? Don't go. I'm gonna put Garcia in timeout. You're in timeout, brother. I'm gonna put Garcia. Yeah, you're in timeout, sir. You ain't speaking for nobody. Don't say we. Come on, man. Get your ass to timeout. Put your nose in the corner, sir. Ma'am, whatever. Tell me we get it. So just go through. Let's just go back to 2006. Vince Young, Matt Leinart, Jay Cutler. Cutler was okay. 2007, Jamarcus Russell, Brady Quinn, both not good. Matt Ryan in 2008, solid. Joe Flacco, solid. 2009, Stafford, solid. Sanchez, Josh Freeman, 2010, Bradford, Tebow, Cam Newton, Jake Locker, Blaine Gabbert, Christian Ponder, not good. 2012, Luck, RG3, Tannehill, Whedon. 2013, EJ Manuel. 2014, Bortles, Manziel, Bridgewater. 2015, Winston, Mariota, 1 and 2. Then Goff, Wentz, Paxton Lynch. 2017, Trubisky. Then you had Mahomes, Watson. They did their thing. Then you had Baker, Darnold, Josh Allen, Josh Rosen. So the point is, there's a better chance than not that you're not going to be good. It happens. So yeah, if CJ ends up not as good as AR-15, okay. I mean, that's the chance. But as far as the Stroud thing, I don't know that, I've seen some of the national comments and I've seen like people say that he's getting hate on. I don't know, like how many people are really hating on CJ Stroud? How many people are like really like saying, "Oh, he sucks now"? Not a lot of people. I mean, not a lot, like not reasonable people. Like if you thought he wasn't good before, then maybe you're like magnifying it, but not a lot of people. The other thing about quarterbacks, and I talked about this earlier today, people just double down on quarterbacks for some reason. People just double down on QBs where they dig in and then they're not willing to admit when they're wrong about quarterbacks. You know what I mean? Like the Lamar Jackson folks, they drive me nuts because heading into the draft, it was, man, this guy can't even play quarterback. He might as well be a receiver or a running back. Then he goes out there, he leads them to the playoffs, he wins an MVP, and then it's like, well, you can't win with this guy. You can't win in the playoffs. Peyton Manning didn't win in the playoffs early on. Then it's like, well, he can't stay healthy. He can't stay healthy. Like the goalpost moves. He was the last pick in the first round of the draft. Like he's already proven you wrong, but there's people who still like constantly move the goalpost to hate on Lamar Jackson. Like people just dig in when it comes to quarterbacks. So, and I don't even think it's a bad thing. I think it's good that people have opinions on stuff like this. Like I think it's fine to have these type of opinions when it comes to that. But people just dig in and can't admit when they're wrong, despite the fact that we've all been wrong about quarterbacks before. It's really hard. It's really hard. That's why you can't even like point to one school and say, this school puts out the most quarterbacks. It's tough, man. It's a tough position. Like each year, I mean, how many really, really good quarterbacks are there each year? Maybe 12 tops. You're always looking to improve, but people just kind of dig in on it. We'll see what happens with CJ. The good thing about CJ, and I think this was something that D'Amico actually said. I'll see if I can find this. Okay, yeah, here is D'Amico Ryans talking about CJ Stroud. I think this is like the encouraging thing. And when it comes to the new process and systematic outlook of this squad, I think this is the good thing that D'Amico had to say.
Yeah, he was fine. I think it's good to have some ups and downs. That's what this league is all about. It's not always going to go great or not always go your way, but it's all about how you respond to the things that happen to you. And I thought his response to it was fine.
Yeah, and here's the quote I was really looking for.
Thought he moved around well. Went to the right place with the ball a couple times, and it was good to see him move out of the pocket and try to make some things happen there. We know we have some things to clean up front. I don't want him having to move as much, but we all have things to clean up and get better at. But I thought it was a good first outing, good look at live action. So I thought it was good for him.
Yeah, and he's not by himself. And that was the one thing that D'Amico said that I think is accurate. I thought Deshaun Watson was kind of by himself. I don't feel like CJ Stroud is by himself. I think it's kind of a system thing. I don't want to call him, Jimmy Garoppolo or whatever, but I mean, I think a lot of it is going to be systematic. I think a lot of it is going to be put him in the right position. I think a lot of it's going to be on Slowik. I think Slowik knows that. And I think that, it's not I'll put it this way. This is the best way I can put it. If CJ Stroud were being asked to do what Deshaun Watson had to do with B.O.B., he wouldn't be able to do it. And I know that Deshaun is kind of like a polarizing topic for a lot of people, but he wouldn't be able to do that. If you were just asking him to say butts, be Houdini, like do what Deshaun did, CJ would not be able to do that. It's hard to do. Now, is it a recipe for success? Probably not. Like the ultimate success, probably not. You probably need a little bit more help. But he's not being asked to do that. So I think right now, like with this system, it's going to be just as much on Slowik as it is CJ. And I think that's why the more that I talk to the coaches and I talked to Slowik today, the more that you hear D'Amico, they know that and they understand that because they were in San Francisco when, they were holding off to get Kirk Cousins, and then they audibled and brought in Jimmy Garoppolo, and then they were going to try to upgrade from Garoppolo and go with Trey Lance. That didn't work out. Then they went back to Garoppolo, and then they ended up having to go to Brock Purdy. So they understand that type of thing. They understand that it's all about the quarterback, like the team when it comes to the quarterback. So I think that's a good thing. But if he were asked to do what Deshaun had to do, then it'd be tough. Be really tough. 100% tough. More comments from the folks. If you're just tuning in, appreciate you for coming through. Subscribe, like, right along. CJ Stroud with the ones the entire time. Tegan Quitoriano back. Andrew Beck back. Bobby Slowik. Good things to say today. Devin says, heard TQ back. Hyped about that. He is back. He looks good. Brandon says, dude saying he a bust. Don't know football. Talking about CJ Stroud. Who is even saying this? Steven Anderson, is that the former tight end for the Texans? Don't worry, Stroud's going to be all right. It's a learning process. You dig. Definitely is. Ryan, bad news. Not sure if you've seen any of the 3 times Jacob Martin has mentioned this, but he is looking to get the band back together. Hashtag Rock Boys. Hashtag please Landry discourage him. Rock Boys got to die. I don't want any of these guys doing the Rock Boys thing. And I think these guys got too much swag to do that. I do think Jacob Martin's going to be on the team, though. Levis or Anthony Richardson? Jeez. God. Lord. Do we have to draft him at the same time? I would rather take Levis in the second than Anthony Richardson in the top 5. Now, if we're drafting them both like in the second, then I'd probably still take Levis. I'm not big on Richardson. I'm sorry. I'm not big on Levis either. That's Gosh Allen right there. Levis is Gosh Allen. Anthony Richardson is LaFar Jackson. Not a fan of either one of them. If our O-line is horrible, then I say we play Mills. How does that make sense? Why? The O-line's good. They were just playing the backup the other day, but I don't understand that. What is it? You want him to get hurt or something? I don't get that. Jay says, why is Stroud so hateable? I just don't get it. I don't think people hate him. I feel like he's got a lot of defenders in the national media. I actually think he's pretty likable, extremely likable. Mr. Robot, even Caleb Williams might be a bust. I'm honestly not that impressed with him anymore than I was with Deshaun Watson. Deshaun was good, man. Caleb, yeah, we'll see what happens with him at USC this year. Magnificent Merker, Bryce and AR-15 played very similar to CJ in their first games. They both played more. Although Anthony played more. Bryce was similar. R. Valdez, I can see class being a Kyler Murray, Tua, and Herbert type. Oh, you're talking about the draft class? Who, though? Who's who? Who's Herbert? Who's Herbert? Who's Kyler? Who's Tua? It's interesting. Who is Anthony Richardson in that? It's really interesting. I don't think that Kyler was in this class either. I think it was Burrow. So I think you might be off there. Let's be honest. Preseason is dumb. No, it's not. Come on, brother. Preseason ain't dumb. Crazy as hell, man. No wonder you got a flower up there. Weak ass. No offense, but come on. Preseason ain't dumb. Preseason's great. Landry, have you seen a good relationship between Coach Johnson and Stroud while watching practice? Yeah, I actually talked to Gerard today. So, full disclosure, my co-host John Lopez, Gerard is one of his son's best friends, and Lopez actually coached his AAU team. Gerard has known CJ and Bryce since they were in high school. I actually remember him talking about CJ Stroud before he started at Ohio State. And I mean, he doesn't leave CJ's side. And Gerard's like one of the bright minds. Like if Slowik gets a head coaching job, Gerard's going to be next in line. I fully anticipate he'll end up being a head coach in the league. He's a good dude. I was just effing with him today about Lopez as an AAU coach because I'm not really trying to. Other people are asking him about CJ and stuff. I'm not really trying to get that type of stuff. Steven says if CJ Stroud needs a system to be a good QB, Texans wasted a number 2 pick. Okay. So did Joe Burrow need a system? Like, do you think he's in the right system? Do you think that Tom Brady was in the right system? And you'll say, oh, he was a 6th-round pick. Do you think Peyton Manning was in the right system? Like every quarterback needs to be in the right system. Now, maybe it's like you plug it in, but to say that if a quarterback needs a system to be good, the Texans wasted a number 2 pick, I don't get what that means. Because when you say that, it's not like the air raid offense, like the Mike Leach, where any quarterback can do it. But yeah, the quarterback needs to be in the right system, and some systems don't depend as much. Does that mean that if name a good system? Does that mean if Kyle Shanahan gets the number 1 pick in the draft next year, he shouldn't draft Caleb Williams or Drake May? No, man. So I don't agree with that, Steven. Appreciate the comment though. A little snappy today. Jerome says the tight end room is trash. Wouldn't even throw them in Madden besides Dalton. Man, the tight end room is nice. I think you're wrong about that. I think the tight end room is nice. I think that I think Quiteriano's nice. I think Dalton's nice. I think Beck is nice, and I think that Shrek's actually underrated. I might be a little too high on this this tight end room. Some trolls in here tonight. People say trolls. Yeah, we'll have to get some folks out of here. We gotta start taking away kids' pudding packs, man. In this mug. Kenyon Green is the one everyone should worry about. Yeah, I think you should. Like you naturally should be concerned about Kenyon Green. If you're not worried about Kenyon Green, I don't know if you watched football last year. For sure. Absolutely, you should be sure. Ride Shift Dude says Watson had a better line. Dude, he has Julian Davenport starting at left tackle. I mean, he had a better offensive line. Dwayne Brown got traded after the Seattle game. He played with Dwayne Brown for like a game. 2018, he had Julian Davenport. He had like Xavier Suafilo and Nick Martin. The hell are you talking about, dude? Damn, dude. Looks like a mugshot on Channel 2. Do you think we'll look to upgrade OL depth? Always, yeah. I do. I think they'll look to upgrade OL depth. I think that I could see them trying to look at running backs. I could see them looking at a lot of spots, but yeah, for sure OL. You can't have Deculus out there. You can't do that. It's not a good thing. Would you still pick Young over Stroud? Yeah. Yeah. You think I'm going to change my opinion just because he's on the Texans? No, yeah, for sure. If I had the choice, yeah. Will Fant start at right tackle when Tunsil plays? Yes. They're just getting some left tackle work for him last game. But, yeah, Fant will be on the right side, and we'll see how that looks. But, yeah, we won't see Deculus. They just had to put Fant at left because Tunsil was playing. So, yeah, why are we talking about the O-line being terrible? If O-line is terrible, then Mills starts. Don't get CJ hurt and give Mills a chance to start, raise his trade value. Joshua, got to put your nose in the corner, man. It's 5 minutes. It's 5 minutes, sir. You got to watch the kids play at recess with that kind of stuff. The hell are you talking about? Tyson, did they practice today? Come on, man. That's 5 minutes in the corner, too. Come on, man. The hell you think? Of course they practice. Does Tunsil play Saturday? I think so. I would think Tunsil plays Saturday. I am intrigued to see how they kind of handle the reps. I don't know if they're gonna third game. I think it might be Case Keenum taking them home. But yeah, I think he does. Who's going to be our best defensive player this year? My money is on Stingley. I think it's going to be Will Anderson. I think Will Anderson is going to be the best defensive player. And he's looked pretty good as of late. Even though it's preseason, it was poetic to Coach Ryan's defense versus O'Brien's offense and got the W. Yeah. What's up with B.O.B.? He doesn't look too healthy right now. I'm kind of worried about him. I like Bill. I've had a few brews with Bill before. He's kind of a jerk, but like he can take it and you can kind of go back and forth with him, but I don't know what's going on with him. No clue what's going on with that. No, I'm legit concerned for him. I think he just kind of feels like he might be at a breaking point, and he went from working with Saban to now going and work with Belichick, and he's working with crap quarterbacks. He's kind of at a breaking point. I'm worried about Bill, man. I want him to get a good night's sleep. I just don't think he's capable at this point. How many snaps does CJ get? I think he's going to get like a quarter and a half, maybe a half. I think he's going to be out there for a while. And then I think they'll announce him as a starting QB after the Miami thing. And then we might see all Keenum. Who was your number 2 QB outside of Young? I wasn't high on very many. I guess you could say CJ, but I wasn't high on too many. I'm not going to rewrite history for you folks. I wasn't high on many outside of that. Would you have preferred to draft John Michael Schmidt instead? Instead of who? Like when? When would that have happened? They traded their second round pick. Like, when are you talking about? Third? I don't know. I know about that. Someone says we want to keep Mills, not trade a cheap, decent backup. Thank you, man. Like, why do people act like – I forgot who I was arguing with. It was one of the Texans' former players. I don't remember. It was during the Deshaun thing, and it was like the Tom Savage thing. You remember when like people were saying, well, Tom Savage knows the system. Tom Savage should start because he knows Bill O'Brien's system. And it was like, dude, what the hell does that mean? But I remember someone was saying, well, you let him play this year and then you trade him for a second or third round pick. Like Tom Savage was going to play his way into being a day 2 pick. Like the Matt Castle thing happens all the time. Look, a backup quarterback is very, 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 very valuable. People pay $9-10 million for backup quarterbacks. Like if you look at like really good backup quarterbacks, like the Andy Daltons of the world, I don't know what Andy's making right now, but there's been times where they're making like $8 million and it's worth it because that's how valuable they are. Right now, Davis Mills, for whatever you want to say about him, he looks like a really good backup quarterback. He's making like $500,000 a year. So if you're going to trade Davis Mills with 2 years remaining on his rookie deal, and there's a rule right now where you can keep three quarterbacks in case Keenum is enjoying this and living his best life and willing to mentor. What are you going to trade Davis Mills for? What do you think he's worth? Like it's not like he's going to go somewhere and start. Like someone's not going to sit there and say, let me get Davis Mills. So what are you getting for Davis Mills? A 6th, a 7th? Is that worth it? Like the Tennessee Titans last year, they had terrible backup quarterback play. If they would have had Davis Mills last year, they would have won the division. So this notion that like, oh, let's trade Davis Mills for what? Like, how good do you think he is? It's in like a Matt Castle type of season. Like day 3 picks often suck. That's what you're going to get for Davis Mills. You want to trade Davis Mills for Booker? I don't understand like the notion that you're going to trade Davis Mills. For what? He's valuable. Like backup quarterbacks are valuable until you don't need them. It's like an insurance policy. Sure, a lot of you have clean driving records. You sit there and say, damn, man, I wasted $1,500 on car insurance. I didn't even need that. Then all of a sudden you get in a wreck and you need the insurance. Especially if you're getting like it at the premium that Davis Mills is at. I don't get that. Tank Dell is him, Jose says. He very well might be. No doubt. Any word on how much CJ will get against the Dolphins? He's going to get a lot of work in those joint practices. Don't know how much he's going to get in the game. I'd probably say like a quarter or so. I anticipate, though, in this one, like Bill Belichick blitzed 60% of the time, which was weird. It was actually Gerard Mayo. I think the Dolphins, I don't think they're going to – I think it's going to be – they're going to show them a lot in the joint practices, and then in the actual games, I think there's probably just going to be like some base stuff. That's what I think. Ace says, flaming garbage take. My coworker is a Mills truther and is fixated on CJ's test score and was so happy that this Thursday night passer rating was nearly identical to the test score. Good for him, man. It doesn't matter, though, because it's not a competition. So good for him. That's cool. Do you think that Tank has 1,000 yards this season? I feel like that might be a little bit rich, although the way that he looks and the way that he's playing, who knows? This is a good question. Rowdy asks, do you see Pierce getting legit receiving chances, or would Singletary eat those up? They're throwing the ball to Pierce, man. Whether it's like stacking a couple guys up left and throwing it to Pierce, whether it's throwing him wheel routes in the end zone today, he had a couple of passes. I still think Singletary is the best receiving threat, but they're going to throw the rock to the running backs. I think Cody Stutes said that the 49ers threw the pill to backs 25% of the time, if I'm not mistaken. Check out Cody Stutes' challenge and be sure to subscribe to that Houston football newsletter. But I think San Francisco, like 1 out of 4 times they were throwing to backs, and Dameon Pierce is getting a lot of looks running the rock, or catching the rock, I should say. Jerome, damn, disappointed in Petrie. Took a terrible angle on that long pass last game. Pro Bowler jump in front. Man, I don't know what the hell he was doing there. I feel like that's kind of gotten a free pass, man. I feel like there's like so much like Jalen Petrie love to where that just kind of went unknown, like uneven, like addressed. And I'm not going to sit here and say that I follow every Texans fan or anything like that. He looked goofy as hell on that. Like, let's just be honest about that. Like there's times where like sometimes you just charge it to the game and you don't make the play. That looked goofy. Like if Eric Murray had done that, if Steven Nelson had done that, if even Derek Stingley had done that, like I feel like he would have gotten a little bit roasted for how goofy that Petrie looked. Like he literally jumped behind the receiver and acted like he was wrapping the ball up. I don't know what that was. Maybe he's trying to avoid the receiver and just going through like some sort of mental rep and saying, I'm not going to hit in the preseason. I don't know. But even then, like get in front of him and try to not that looked goofy, man. That was C-team stuff. I mean, that looked like someone who either pressed the wrong button in Madden or is not as good as they're hyping Petrie up to be. I'm not sitting here saying that like he's not good or anything, but I feel like Petrie kind of got a free pass for how goofy that looked. That looked real goofy. I don't know what the hell that was. Yeah, I don't even know if it was a kill shot, but damn, like a play on the ball or something? I don't know. I don't know what the hell that was. That was tough. Oh, yeah. Someone says they like the sign. Yeah, so the sign is if y'all notice, like right here, that's empty. I'm picking this up at the end of the month. I just got it done. Let's see if I can show this on the thing. So JJ signed a jersey for me before he left. He actually sent it to the station. It says, Landry, thanks for all the laughs and support. Signed a loyal loophole. So that's the JJ jersey right there. It says, Landry, thanks for all the support. Signed a loyal loophole. And that's JJ. JJ signed it for me. And this is the frame job that I got. So you can see me with JJ there. And then you can see the JJ picture. So that fully framed right there is going to go right there. My frame guy got that ready. So it's gonna go pretty cool stuff. I'll get that by the end of the month, depending on when the baby's born, which is supposed to be next week, and we'll figure it out. Peter says, Landry, would you agree that CJ needs to work on anticipation with his throws? I mean, on the interception, yes. I think he's done a good job of actually filling out blitzes with his legs. I think that's the biggest knock on him coming out of Ohio State. And I think he's actually done a really good job at that. The last when he threw his last interception at practice, it seems like they've kind of emphasized that. And you heard D'Amico kind of talk about that as well. Do we see more of Mechie versus Miami after Tank killed it versus New England? Yeah, I think you see both of them. Joe Blue likes Pierce in fantasy this year. I'm avoiding him unless it's in the third round. I just feel like in Houston drafts and stuff, and especially like when I'm in a league, like, and I'm in the same league as Stutes, and we've been in the same league for 13 years now. I just feel like he's going to go early. I'm going 13. I might go third round, but I'm just not doing that. Giovanni said Deuce Vaughn looked electric tonight. I wanted them to draft him so bad. If they had Deuce Vaughn on top of what they got at the top two, it would be crazy. The fact he went sixth round is idiotic, and I think every team in the NFL looks back at this and says, man, we should have taken him over whoever. I think he's a really, really good player. For sure. Brandon Pempson says, I'm hoping Petrie get that free safety role and eventually gets free range to play the field. Ed Reed. He's not Ed Reed. Ed Reed had cornerback skills. Jalen Petrie is a true safety. He does have a nose for the ball. He did have 5 picks last year, but I mean, we're talking like Ed Reed is like an all-time ball hawk. So I wouldn't say that. I actually I don't know how they're going to use him and Jimmy, because Jimmy's kind of interchangeable and Jimmy can he's one of the better nickelbacks in the league. So I think they'll kind of move those guys in and out. But yeah, I think Petrie's good. I wouldn't compare him to Petrie. Ramiro says he got Pierce in the 4th round. Good for you, man. That's a really it's a good pick right there. I can get down with that. Brandon talking about Cody. Have you considered moving tonight? Come on, no. 97.5 for what? Come on. I'm at the best station in town. Come on, brother. I wouldn't do that. Someone says, let's go Texans. Yeah. Let's for sure. Good. Let's hear from Davis Mills. This was Davis Mills on the QB competition. Kind of sounds like a guy that's kind of just content, just accepting whatever role he's going through.
I mean, I don't think my approach has changed at all. I'm just going out there every day and trying to be the best player, best person I can be for this team. I mean, I'm obviously trying to improve with every snap I get. These snaps are continued experience for me. And, I mean, every rep I get is making me better as a player. So, I mean, it's exciting. I'm coming in, putting my head down and showing what I can do.
There you go. It's backup right there. I can get down with that. Nick asks if Dare is going to make the team. He's definitely not one of the top 3 backs. I know he's on special teams and whatnot. I think this is actually a pretty important 2 weeks for Dare. I think Dare's going to have to show a little bit more than he did, because the effort he put out in the preseason opener, it was bad. Mr. High, battle between Lopez and Hines should be interesting. I would give the edge to Lopez, but Hines just plays good in games. I mean, neither one of those decisions would surprise me. I'd like, when you start to look at the numbers, you got to think like Rankins is good. Collins is obviously good. Ridgeway seems good. And then I don't know how they look at it, like, beside that. The thing about those 2 guys is I don't think either one of those guys like gets snuck through the practice squad. Maybe they do, but it just kind of seems like those guys are good enough to be on rosters. Like they do a good enough job, especially in spot duty. Now, you don't want Roy Lopez to be starting a lot of games like he did last year, but yeah, I don't know about that. Do you think they can lock up Tyreek Hill? I don't think anyone can lock up Tyreek Hill. Really, I think Tyreek Hill's one of one. So lock up, probably not. If Tank Dell is wide receiver 2, who do you have wide receiver 1 and 3? I think there's a good chance that Tank is wide receiver 1. Although I don't like, if you ask me to bet who I think will have the most receptions, at this point it would be either Tank or Robert Woods. Maybe Schultz, but I think Robert Woods is going to get a lot of dump offs. Although Tank, I think, is the more complete receiver, and I think eventually he might get that. TJ says To'o had himself a game. He did. This was actually D'Amico on To'o.
Henry was steady, just as he's been all training camp. The moment wasn't too big for him. He did a really good job of communicating, and he made a few plays there. So excited to see, his growth moving forward.
Yeah, and I wonder what this means for Christian Kirksey. You had D'Amico on Friday say that Kirksey could be back in a couple of weeks. My question is, like, what? Like, are we just going to save him for the preseason opener? Like, are we to that point? The linebackers look a lot more athletic. Do they just keep Kirko around? I mean, you save like $4 or $5 million by letting him go. Henry looks good. Cashman looks great. Christian Harris. I don't expect I don't expect that to make sense. I just don't know what it looks like when he comes back. Do you expect Noah and Woods to play Saturday? Are they saving him for the season? I think they will play. I don't know that they're saving Woods, but there has been like a healthy amount of load management with Woods. Even when he's like suiting up, it doesn't seem like it's crucial. And when he's out there, he's making plays. So I think they have a lot of trust in Robert Woods and what he does and what he brings, and like the extra stuff that he brings. Who will lead the team in receptions out of the receivers? I think it could be Schultz, but let's leave him out. I'm almost inclined to say Tank. I don't think that would be too far-fetched. After the joint practices, do you think the veteran ones play Saturday? I would think so, but I don't know so. I don't know. I mean, we don't know their pattern yet. We don't know what D'Amico Ryan's pattern is, but I would think that they play a half, but I don't know what the pattern is. C-Boss says practice is different from games. I don't know what that means. What is that in reference to, sir? I don't know what that means. Like as far as what? Major Payne asks, would you want to see the Texans go back on Hard Knocks, or is it a distraction? I don't know if it's a distraction or not. I enjoy watching it. I'm not watching the Jets because they made such a whiny ass scene about it. Now all of a sudden it seems like they want like clout and to put out videos and stuff. Like they whined about it, and now all of a sudden Aaron Rodgers and like Sauce Gardner are putting out like, hey, let me give you a chain. And y'all didn't even want to be on this. Now all of a sudden, like the social media is trying to post it. And when they posted it didn't even have damn sound on it. Go back and look at Sauce Gardner like presenting Aaron Rodgers with the chain. I mean, you would think like an NFL social media team would at least put a damn microphone on it. Like a damn I don't know what to even say. Like looking like a damn non-professional website type of thing. New team, new coaches. Texans need time. I don't know what that means, man. Like, is that the practice thing? No disrespect. How long do you think it'll take CJ to adjust to NFL speed? I don't know. It could be all season. Might never happen. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Is that like the issue? I mean, I feel like there's like veterans who don't consistently figure out NFL speed. I don't have like a time frame on that. I wish I did. I have no idea. I don't know if it ever happens. Who knows? Any O-line guys out there we could pick up or trade for you? I don't know, man. I don't know. Like I don't have the O-line waiver wire. Y'all know me during the draft. I don't know. I watch the O-linemen that actually play, but like as far as like, hey, we could trade a 6th round pick for this guy from San Francisco. No idea. Sorry. Hit the like button. It's good advice right there from Joe. When y'all leave, just do me a favor, subscribe, like, all that type of stuff. The national media reaction to CJ Stroud, I thought it was interesting. Seemed like it was pretty positive outside of Antonio Cromartie, who said that he thought Case Keenum was going to start. Case Keenum didn't take a rep today. Maybe he meant he should, but that was a rough look for Cromartie. Sometimes you just put athletes up there and people just bow down to it. It's some of them are the worst damn folks in the world. Landry, when's the last time you partied at Lake Grapevine? Probably like a long time ago. I used to go out there daily at the marina. Four Locos, all that. I saw that the spot just got bought where they used to give away free beer, Fat Daddies. But yeah, go out there and then go out to the club up there. Lake Grapevine goes in for sure. The marina. I remember one time when we were at Lake Grapevine. I don't think I should even tell this story, but screw it. So my boy was he had like a boat that his parents never let him have. And we went out and we ended up like staying out like the whole night. And I woke up in the car. It was probably like 3 a.m. or something. And I called whoever we were with, and I was like, "Hey, where's my boy?" I'm not gonna say his name. I was like, "Hey, where's he at?" And they're like, "Oh, he passed out in the boat." And I was like, "This was like 15 years ago. This is probably like 16 years ago. So we're going way back here. This isn't recent." So I was going to get him at the boat, and the problem was the marina where they locked the door. It was locked. So in order to go get him, I was going to have to get in the water and go to the boat and wake him up. So I woke him up. We ended up like walking back. We went back to his house, and this dude, we go back to his house, and he had rolled his foot while we were out together. And as we got to his house, he had to go to football training. He had to go to football training. He was going back to college like a week later. That's why I'm not saying his name. So we pull up to his house, and there's like 4 cars there. And I'm like, bro, what's going on here? Like, what's the deal here? And he goes, oh, my grandparents are staying here. It's no big deal. All good. He starts ringing the doorbell. He's holding like an 18-pack of beer as he's ringing the doorbell. And I'm like, bro, let's just go to my house. Like, come on. He's like, no. Sure enough, his mom comes outside. His grandparents are like looking. They're like all concerned. And his mom goes, Jesus Christ, blank. What the F are you doing? He goes, swear. He goes, Mom, be quiet. All I know is to get on mine and Landry's boat, you either got to show your boobs or you got to have some beer. And you better have some beer, Grandma. And his grandma's just sitting there, and I'm just sitting there like, dude, what in the hell are you doing right now, man? I'm like, what is going on? So we end up like staying at his house. This is like college stuff. I wake up the next morning. I go to sleep. I'm just figured it was like that was a crazy enough night for me. And this is where it gets even crazier. The dude forgot to tie up the boat. So the boat had floated away from the marina. So he had to go back the next day, and he had to go get the boat from the marina. I know I just kind of went on a tangent, but that's kind of the grapevine. Jacob says, sounds like Johnny from A&M. Very much so. That was a Johnny. By the way, I don't know if y'all checked out that documentary. Your boy was in it. I got my 4-second cameo on that Johnny Manziel. So if y'all check out that Netflix, I think I actually made the trailer too. You'll see me. It's back from ESPN days, talking about him being himself. So I was actually in that Johnny football thing. But yeah, that dude was nuts, man. But he was good. He was a good player. But dude, his mom, he told his grandma, you better have beer. Did I put him in timeout? I did not. His mom did. His mom put him in timeout. But dude was nuts. But yeah, that was a long time ago. Back in the day. Appreciate everyone for coming through. Practice reports here. Just to reset, CJ Stroud with the ones, Tegan Quintariano, he back, Andrew Beck, he back, Bobby Slowik, a lot of good things to say about CJ Stroud. Frank Ross, kind of depressed about the end of the kickoff, but likes the way the special teams was working. Said that there's like gray area that goes with the special teams. Matt Burke says that the relationship between D'Amico and Mike McDaniel will come into play with how they approach the joint practices with the Dolphins. Unfortunately, the Texans have not put up the press conference today. Got to talk to a few of them. And it was fun. Appreciate everyone for coming through. Please, when you leave, subscribe, like, right along. Y'all know I'm consistent. 11 months into this. No days off, no half-assing it. I take great pride in covering this squad. I take pride in everyone coming through and interacting, whether you go in timeout or not. Much love for everyone. Appreciate you for coming through. No matter what happens when it comes to the Texans, always tie your boat up. And when it comes to this Texan stuff, Jeffrey already knows. We are all in this together. Appreciate you for rolling through.
Locker room, yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk, yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize, every angle's what we really do. We the source, we the pulse of the city too. Landlocked, got the game in the headlock. Localize every time, can't stop, won't stop. Yeah, we top 2 and we not too. Plugged in daily digital on YouTube. We got taste for days, opinions to give, we got takeaways. If it's up, then it's up, we number one. You don't need to try your luck. Locker room.